Oh, I thought we already were. Okay.
No, I've been setting this up this whole time. Like it's just been I've been to do this.
Well, cool. It doesn't matter that I wasn't interesting. I'm glad I didn't try.
Haha, joint laughter. Haha.
Ha ha ha!
What are we laughing about? Big grin on my face.
I'm just going through the news real quick because I don't usually open stuff when they get added because it's on my phone and it's not great to read stuff that way. But then I forget. And that's the end of that story.
Cool story. Excellent story.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Charge Shot Gamescast. Each of our best friends gather around to talk about the news in gaming. This week I have Justin.
Who did the dicks?
I bet it was Nick.
American Vandal? Anyone? No? Alright. I wanted to have a cool Ben style intro, but it's fine. Whatever.
I don't have cool intros. What are you talking about?
You always reference a movie or TV show or something that you are into at the moment.
That doesn't make it cool. Okay. I appreciate that you're cool, but like, I'm just trying to be as lame as possible. I just think to myself, I wake up every morning thinking, how could I possibly make myself lamer? I know, make a dumb reference nobody's going to understand.
Well, I guess I did that then.
We also have Lo here.
How's it going, everybody?
And of course the stuff with him, Marvelous One Man.
I suplexed the train.
No, that was me.
I did that months ago.
Stop stealing my thunder.
I mean, I did.
Yeah, technically.
I did buy Final Fantasy VI on the Game Boy Advance, and I played that particular sequence while on the train. So technically, I suplexed a train while on a train.
Whoa. Yo, dog.
Jeez.
Heard you like trains?
We're not worthy.
I heard you like suplexes and trains, so I made a machine that'll suplex your train onto a train.
Wait, you're not suplexing a train onto a train. You're suplexing a train while on a train.
Or the first one, because it sounds cooler.
It would be pretty awesome if you had two trains like running side by side, and you just suplexed one onto the other train and took out both trains.
It's like
and
it's
killed
like
like
double,
300 people.
it's like a double-decker train.
Oh, man.
Train's already a double-decker, idiot.
I need to see that now. I need to see that now. That needs to be a thing.
You need to see a train suplexed onto another train?
Cuphead style, and done in the Cuphead art style, because that's the only way it would look
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
How's the salt?
I usually don't start with myself, but I guess we
go ahead.
That sweet transition was too good to pass up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say, Ben?
How's the salt? Are you salty?
A cup of salt.
Salt is still on the first world because I haven't gotten past it yet. I usually play like super late at night. Like, when I'm tired. More so than when I'm doing this.
I don't think that's a good idea. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't think that's a good idea for a game like Cuphead.
Yeah, I should probably do it more when more energy, when I'm more awake.
Mm-hmm.
I've only gotten past like maybe a couple of like I've like 2 running guns and like maybe I defeated 2 bosses. That's about it.
Does it have any cup noodle DLC?
That's the next brother. You have Cuphead, Mugman, and then Cup Noodle.
Yeah. Pull the Final Fantasy 15 on that.
Or it could be one of the other ones where it's like one of the powers that you can get.
Noodle hands.
Yeah, Noodle
You just shoot out some noodles. I know nothing about this game.
I can tell you the very basic stuff since I haven't gotten too far. It's an old school
It's Dark Souls.
shooter. Yeah, sure. It's the Dark Souls of shooters, I guess. But it's like an old school shooter where you just go left or right. It's mostly boss battles from what I can really tell. There's like a few running gun levels in the game, but most of it is boss battles. There's like a really cool section where you transform into a plane and you have to fight like your teacher. She's not really your teacher, but she looks like an old school elementary teacher. And she turns into like Zeus and like a bunch of different other like not demigods, but like constellations, like Virgos and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Like I love the animation in it. The animation in this game is like top notch. It's absolutely amazing. I really do want to see more. I want to keep playing it, but I refuse to play on simple difficulty. I want to play on regular, and I should probably play it while I'm more awake and not sleeping. Like it took over my Slime Rancher game, and I think I should go back to Slime Rancher or NHL because that's more of a nighttime game where you don't really think about it. You just play. So I'll have more to say on that when I play more of that. I think I need to upgrade my abilities. Like I don't have too many right now. I just got like the homing not rocket, but the homing gun. So you don't really have to aim anywhere. You can just like put your finger up and start shooting, and the bullets will fly to them, which is really handy, and it's more helpful for doing that when you want to avoid missiles and gunshots and stuff. Which I think that's like the key element in this type of game is to avoid damage and not focus on damaging, because like that homing beacon helps so much in staying alive. I need a new health upgrade because there's one boss that I keep dying to on like the last stage that he transforms into. I die so often now that I don't even read like the cute little limericks or like rhymes they have when I die. So I'm just like, God, just retry. Like I just mash the button.
How's that parry?
The parry, I'm getting better to it. There's actually one boss that you have to do a parry on. They're pretty simple to do. I changed up the control mechanics because the controls are kind of weird. Like all the buttons are on the face buttons. So if you want to run, shoot, jump, not run, but like if you want to shoot, jump, and parry, it's all on the face button. So I just use the triggers for dashing. Which is really helpful. It's kind of like
That got me in Metroid too. Like you do that. Like in Metroid, you do like the the melee attack, but it's like right next to your gun. It's like I'll be shooting, and then they'll like dart at me, and you have to like move off your gun up to like X or whatever it is on 3DS to do the parry. So I just stopped parrying. Like once I got the wave beam and could shoot through walls and stuff, I just stopped parrying the entire game. But I wish I could, do the controls on that. But it's definitely weird to have everything on the face buttons.
It's just a lot helpful because, like, I don't know why, but the right trigger seems like a really good dash button for me. So I don't have to stop shooting. I can just press that button, and then I have an ability that lets me like vanish off the screen and then reappear, kind of like a teleport, but it's more like a dash. So you have invincibility frames that you can use, kind of like Dark Souls, where your dash when you roll helps you. Just wanted to talk a little bit about like the community aspect of this, where people are talking about some people find it way too difficult and they want it to be easier, so that they can play the game.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were going to be at the end like you always are, and that would be our transition into news, but it's fine. Like, yeah, it kind of bothers me when people say that like, certain games aren't real games, or like they're saying like, oh, Cuphead feels like they're real games that I used to play as a kid, not all this, like dumb baby stuff we have now. Like, games are games. Like, there's no such thing as a fake game. There's difficulty differences, and there might be something that like might not be as fun for you as a player that like is more skilled, but you don't have to play those games.
Right.
It's like an argument we've had on Charged Up before about movies. Like there's not really bad movies. There's just like movies that aren't made for certain audiences, and the same kind of thing. It's like if a game is easy to you, don't say it's not real just because you don't enjoy it.
Right.
Like other people like that, and I don't see anything wrong with having different types of games, because like if we didn't, you wouldn't appreciate Cuphead. The reason the art style is great and everything. Like I'm sure it has its merit. I'm never going to play it because it's hard and I don't enjoy hard games. But let's be honest, it's getting all of this publicity and stuff because it's a really hard boss rush game.
Also, because the speedrunner beat it with a DDR pad.
No way.
True, there's that. But I'm just saying, like, if it was just like a a game with a cool art style, it would not be getting the same publicity it's getting. It's getting that because it harkens back to the old, NES like bullet hell type, like platformer games, and people miss that. So if every game was like that, if there were no easy or quote unquote fake games out there, then we wouldn't appreciate these. And also, I feel like a lot more people wouldn't be gamers because, like, there wouldn't be the accessibility of, the average game out there that gets people interested and then gets them better at games. So they can build up to things like Cuphead. It's just dumb that that there's so many shallow people out there that just say, "Oh, well, I'm glad we have another real game."
Yeah,
Get over yourselves.
And I think so far the bosses I've played, I really do enjoy the patterns to it, like the gameplay to it. Like there's a boss that it's two frogs and they do two different things, and then at the last stage they turn into a slot machine, and then you have to hit the handle and it'll roll through the slot machine to like say three devils, and then it'll do a certain attack. A couple more times. One's like a frog one. I can't remember what the other one is, but it's really neat in that kind of design stage. I want to see more of it, so I need to play it when I'm more awake. Yeah, I agree. Like it's great to have simple games. Like even like walking simulators. I've played through like one of them right now this year is probably one of my favorite games this year is Where Remains of Edith Finch. But it does something different in the way it tells stories, and those kind of games challenge the way video games are, and like turns it into a different like platform kind of. I love games that just push the boundaries of what a game is. Like that's the reason why I like FMV games a lot. Is because there might not be a lot there. It might be more of an adventure game style, but it does something different. And I love really bad FMV, like where people are like they're putting their heart and soul into it, but you can see like the character in the scene doesn't fit quite right, but they're really trying for it, and I don't know. Yeah. I love the way, like I love how game like there's not one way to make a game.
Right.
Different types of ways you can make games.
Yeah, it isn't the era of the with the NES, and I feel like just to give my quick 2 cents on the subject, that people who say like I wish they make games like no, you don't, you really don't, because those games back then, not every game, but a lot of those games were bullshit because they were still feeding off the whole arcade mentality, and the games were very long, so they had to make it difficult to extend to make you justify playing it, and
they wanted for quarters. They had to make it super hard so that you'd keep dying and putting in more quarters.
Exactly, and I feel like if you want that kind of game, I'm glad Cuphead is feeling that need for you, but don't like. I'll say this: go watch Jim Sterling's new series. He's doing basically a series where he's basically mocking elitist gamers, or he's reading elitist gamer comments as a sort of aristocrat character, like from like medieval Renaissance England. It's really the Renaissance era. It's really fun, and that sort of sums up my feeling of like, why do you care? Like, I never understood this mentality of these people who are hiding behind social media and Reddit and all these other things, who get so mad when somebody wants a smaller, easier difficulty, or they want. Now, I think there's a fine line between what is a game and when you remove certain things. Well, is it really a game at that point, or are you just watching a movie? I think there is a fine line between that, but I don't think people should be mad for others wanting an optional choice. But also, I do see that, well, maybe Cuphead's not for you. Maybe like you have to look at what you're buying. Like Justin knows he doesn't like difficult games, so he's not going to buy Cuphead. but you know, you may want to give it a shot. But it doesn't make a person less of a gamer or fan of video games, rather, if they want an easier time. Because Lord knows, I'm 27 years old. I got shit to do. All right?
Right. I don't want to spend hours on one part of a game. That's going to make me want to stop playing it.
That's why I save
Some
state.
people enjoy that. That's fine.
That's why I save state whenever I'm playing like a SNES or GBA on my 3DS or the Wii U. Because like I don't want to do that all over again. Save state. Like, it's not that stigma. Like, I used to have a big stigma, like, no, I have to do this in one run. It's perfect. And then now, like, whatever, save state. I'll try it again.
Yeah, like, that actually reminded me of another thing I kind of wanted to, like, put into this is, you know, people complain in games like Mario 3D World and, like, Donkey Kong, I think it was Tropical Freeze, where it's like if you die so many times in a certain area, it'll, like, put up an item that you can choose to use. You don't have to. But, you know, like, it basically makes you invincible, and, like, you can run through the stage just to get through it. Like, I think specifically in Donkey Kong, like, you don't necessarily get credit for it. Like, it gives you a little icon saying, like, you know, you used this item to complete this level. So you can't get, like, 100% run or anything out of it, but you can get through the level for people, like, little kids or something that just want to see the game without, like, struggling through every single level, because it's hard. And people will say, like, oh, well, that just, you know, cheapens a game's difficulty, and just, it, like, why do they do that? It's like, it is an optional progress item for people that want to use it. You don't want to use it, you completely ignore it and play it difficult. That's the point. It's not forcing you. Like, it's not like making the game easier for everyone just because you keep dying. It could just be like, you know, you need to see the level. Like, I've used it before, just, like, get through with the rest of the level to understand, like, what's all there, like, how to get through it without dealing with all the issues. And then I go back through without it.
I use that continuity suit a lot in 3D World.
Yeah. Right. Because I just basically want to see the level, figure out, like, what else there is, and then be able to prepare better for it when I go through it again without the item. But it's mostly for kids. Like, you can't expect kids, like, you know, little 6 or 7-year-olds, like, playing with their parents to figure out all the, you know, difficulty of things like Cuphead. Like, that, even that has a simple mode, and people are like, oh, man, I love Cuphead because it's, you know, a return of the NES era hard games. Like, that has exactly what you complain about in other games. I don't get it. Like, it sucks if you can just, like, you know, bypass entire sections of the game and, you know, get all the same rewards you would otherwise. Especially if it's like an online game or something like that, like the pay-to-win type stuff.
No, Shadow Mortar
discussion. Yeah.
Sorry.
If it's a single-player experience that you're just enjoying at home and it gives you an optional completion item that, you know, doesn't even give you, like, full progress for completion, who cares? It doesn't make the game any easier. It's an option for some people. And you're not better than someone else just because you can beat a game that's super difficult. Like, that doesn't make you more of a gamer. It just makes you different.
Right.
You know,
right.
More capable in that area. Fight me in real life. See how difficult it is. Not really, though, because I'm a winner. But that's just the point. It's like being better at a difficult game doesn't make you any better at life or better than any other person.
No, right. Yeah, it's a weird mentality. It's definitely an interesting mentality. It's funny because a lot of the people who, from my experience anyways, a lot of people who say stuff like this, oh, this is like, oh, this isn't a real game. You know what a real game, like, those are the same people who have played the same game type for years and years and years and years, and they never branch out. So it's like, you're probably the last person. Yeah, you're probably the last person I want to hear from, like, on what a real game is, because look at like, that's one thing about PC gaming is, like, I have experienced a bunch of different genres I never would have played otherwise. Like, for example, I've been playing the Grim Fandango with Thomas. It's fantastic. I freaking love that game. I love the writing. It's just kind of like it's still a game though. Like, the fact that you know, click on stuff to interact with it and, you know, go through dialogue, that doesn't change the fact that, you know, you're still interacting with it. It's still an experience and it's still a game. So I don't know. And just on the fact of with the difficulty thing, with
the realist games, like adventure games, were super popular back then.
Right. and they're difficult too. Grim Fandango, there's some parts where it's like Thomas, like, yeah, you told me what to do. I'm like, how the hell was I supposed to figure that out?
Click everything.
Yep. What do they call that? Pixel hunting? I think that's what you called it.
You guys want to hear some music from the Realist game?
The Realist game.
Is this
huh?
friggin' Picross?
Wait for it. Can you guess what this is?
No.
It-
Is it
Sounds
Picross? I already
familiar.
asked that.
No, it's SteamWorld Dig 2.
It sounded familiar, but I wasn't sure why.
You have that before me. Oh my god.
Alright, if you want to talk about
Nice.
SteamWorld Dig 2, you go ahead.
Me? I haven't actually been playing it that much.
I was talking to Ben, but sure.
I don't have it.
Oh,
No, he said you got it before me. He got
Yeah.
Stardew Valley instead.
okay.
No, I didn't
But
even
I'll
get
go.
that yet.
What? What did you play on the train?
I fucking played. What did I beat Sonic Mania again with Knuckles.
What a loser.
Knuckles,
Well, by the
Knuckles.
time I was in, it's not my fault. Nintendo didn't freaking let me buy Stardew Valley at 7 in the morning, and then by the time I was mid-transit, then Stardew Valley gets released. That's not my fault.
You
Oh,
can't
the
blame
shop didn't
Nintendo
update in
for
the
your
morning?
problems.
Nope. Trust me, I woke up extra early to
Okay.
download it, and I didn't do nothing.
That sucks.
And I didn't want to buy SteamWorld Dig because I was so hyped for Stardew.
Yeah. I didn't know when the
SteamWorld
shop updated. That's dumb.
Dig 2. It's pretty great. I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I play it like as my like in between game. You know what I mean? Like where you're like watching something or you're doing something else, but you also play the game at the same time. So I'm just sitting here in my chair like watching WWE pay-per-views or whatever, and I'm playing SteamWorld Dig 2 with the music on. You need to play it with the music on. The music is so good. It's some of my favorite music this year. I might actually go buy the soundtrack.
Nice.
Like I'm trying to find the music on YouTube, and I'm just like I can't find like the songs that I like on YouTube. So like I might buy the soundtrack.
Nice.
It's a really simple like digging game. Like you're just digging up resources and going back up to the main world, cashing them in to upgrade to better stuff, and going back down. There's like puzzle levels every now and then that you can go into and you get better upgrades, more cogs to for more perks. I just got to the win level, so I had to fight through this really. I really didn't like the win level because it's mostly just it pushes you back every now and then, but you had to like.
You mean outside, like before you get to the temple?
Yeah. Like,
Okay, yeah.
It was kind of a pain in the ass because it would push you away, even though like I think it's just because of the controls or the way I was playing it was because like I had to use the face buttons to run and jump while also using the grappling hook on the right. My hand, I don't know, my hands don't really fit well with that controller. So it was kind of awkward for me to use it, but like once I got into the time, like the win temple, it was fine. Basically, you're on a mission to like find Rusty. I guess he was from the first game.
Yeah, he's the protagonist of the first game.
Yes, Rusty.
I wonder what happened to him.
You play as this girl. I can't remember her name.
Rosie.
Rosie.
Oh,
And you find
She was in the
this-
first game.
And you find like this like what are they called? Like this blue light thing.
Oh crap. He hasn't popped out in a while. I forget.
Yeah, he doesn't show up all that often, but you find him.
He's still funny though.
Yeah.
I love his dialogue.
Hmm.
He's kind of like your little Nami, but like in a really sassy, like murdery way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was like made to kill the cultists. Like they would sacrifice their lives to him, and like so he like had this whole time where he was just killing cultists until you like fucked that up for him.
what?
He's basically just hanging out with you until he can find another like big machine to control and destroy you. He's like, until I can kill you, I guess I'll tag along because you can get me more places I can get by myself.
Yeah, it's just so relaxing to play. Like, break through walls.
Mm-hmm.
That jackhammer fist is really great. You just punch through a bunch of dirt at one time, or bricks.
You just fist everything.
Just fist everything. There's also, to use abilities, you need to have water to create steam to use the ability. There's water pockets below that you can have jump into and suck up. Justin, you want to talk more about it?
I haven't probably played too much further than you have, because I've kind of been a little behind. But there are kind of like, obviously there's upgrades like you mentioned, the fist me power, the grappling hook, which gets some challenging puzzles. I think I talked about that a little bit last week, but there was another one I was trying to deal with in the overworld, because like you kind of go into little caves that are like miniature puzzle areas, and like if you die in those, you just go back to the beginning, like the entrance of it. So you have to do all that area again, but you don't like die and lose your loot or anything. But this one was actually like in just the normal area where like if you die you lose loot and stuff. And I was trying to basically like crawl across the roof over to where a secret entrance was. And the way the grappling hook works is it just shoots out straight. So it's not like a swing or anything like that. It's like you can shoot it forward to grab a wall in front of you. You can shoot it up to grab a wall above you. And so to actually progress places, you have to basically do a combination of like maybe shoot forward, like cling to that wall, and then like drop and hook up before you fall like out of range. And so you're kind of like dropping, moving in a direction a little bit, shooting up, dropping, moving in a direction a little bit, shooting up. So you kind of like inch your way across. And I mentioned the one like where the floor is hot lava and like you have to jump from each one. So it got me really good at that. But when it's in the overworld, like you fall and like you take a lot of damage, and then you could possibly lose all your stuff. So I was trying to be really careful, and it was really annoying, and I ended up giving up on it because it wasn't like it's not just the loop of having to reset the puzzle. It's like you actually die.
Yeah.
And so I don't really like the grappling hook that much because it's also used to like kind of get out of areas. Like if you grapple up and like release before you like hit the block, you're supposed to kind of fly past it to continue the vertical. And so that's like if you get yourself dug in really deep and like can't reach a wall to wall climb up, you can kind of grapple and then like just fly past all the rocks. But I'm not very good at that, and it's not the most intuitive thing. So I prefer to just kind of play my route down so I don't have to use that.
I've gotten to a point where I think in the Wind Temple, I just call it the Wind Temple. That's what it's.
Yeah.
I got to the point where that entrance there, I kind of screwed myself over, and I basically like cut up all the dirt that's like near the entrance, so I couldn't jump back up, and so I had to use the grappling hook in a really weird way. Like I had to like get into like a really small crevice, jump, and then use the grappling hook. It was weird.
Yeah, it's tricky. I wish that worked a little better, but it's fine. But yeah, there are kind of like temples, sort of. Like I thought they were actually like kind of little mini dungeons, because generally like you're just finding like big caves that you dig through to get all the treasure and then get out, or like get to the next area. But after you go through the wind area, you get to, like what looks like kind of a temple entrance, like in Zelda 2 almost, and like it's not really an elevator, but you like drop down a shaft, and then suddenly you're in this big temple area. And I thought it was literally like going through like kind of some puzzles, getting like an upgrade of some sort, and finding a boss. But I'm pretty deep into this place so far, and I haven't gotten any upgrades. There's been a few kind of like puzzle caves, and I don't like it. There's an X of where I'm trying to go, so I think they're just really deep. Like these are big areas. But I'm assuming it's kind of like the Zelda idea where, there's like normal progression areas that just kind of get you to wherever you're trying to go next, like at the next village or whatever. And then there's also kind of these like temple areas that are bigger, more challenging, like cave systems with a little bit more structure to them. Because there's certain walls you can't break. And so like there's a lot more in here where it's like you'll drop down into like a kind of a little maze area, and you have to make your way around there, find a block you can break to get through. Or there's like a conveyor belt or something that like drops stuff and you have to like avoid. I'm in an area where like it like drops lava droplets. So you have to like time your jumps across and like make sure you're not, hitting a wall when the lava's hitting because it'll hurt you. Things like that. So it's kind of more danger focused than just like a normal like dungeon crawl like the other areas are. So it has that kind of like almost Zelda feel, but not quite.
I haven't encountered like a lot of stuff you're talking about, like lava and like conveyor belts. So it's probably a lot further than where I am right now.
I mean, it's in that wind temple.
Yeah, like I haven't gotten to it yet. That's the thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm still digging my way through. The smaller dungeons, like the puzzle level, I guess,
Mhm.
that you go into. Most of that has been like hitting a block, and then the whole rest of it will break, so you have to run across it and do certain
That one was
things.
cool.
Grappling hooks, which is like I thought that was pretty neat.
Those are my favorite part of the game for sure. Just kind of little standalone puzzle rooms.
Those are pretty fun to go into. I think they just give you cogs though; they don't really give you too much else.
You can find relics. They're usually hidden.
Oh yeah, that's right, bro.
That's where you get most of the relics, which are used for the kind of optional upgrades. But yeah, they get really hard and a lot more hidden. But you can always tell, like, if there's a check mark on it that you've gotten everything, like all of the cogs and secrets and stuff in there.
Okay.
So I make sure there's a check mark on it before I leave, or otherwise I'll just go around like hitting every block to try and find some kind of secret entrance or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I was wondering, like, what? How do I know like which one I've been to? I haven't completed. Like, if like maybe I went in there and I just didn't do the thing and I came back out. Like maybe it was too hard and I decided to go back later. But yeah, okay, it has check marks. I have to take a look at
Yep.
that. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this game.
I thought you would.
Like I play this game late at night sometimes too. Like this might actually take over the Cuphead and the Slime Rancher slot.
Mhm.
Where I'll just like sit there on my laptop and I'll have that music from the first town just playing on a loop. Because I just love that song so much. Like I just need it. Like I'm also on a Carly Rae Jepsen ever since I listened to that kind of funny episode with
Max Landis.
yes, Max Landis.
Yeah.
So like, it's a new era of music listening for me.
He's ruining you.
Yeah, I played that. Trying to think of anything else really. I know I played some other stuff, but I just can't think of anything right now. So, Justin, you wanna take over?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Stardew Valley, or it's not Stardew Valley, SteamWorld Dig 2, friggin' S games. And I played a handful of GameCube games and preparing for the list I'm going to be doing of underrated GameCube games. But the main thing I want to talk about is A Hat in Time. I mentioned it last week that it came out that week, but I hadn't gotten to play it yet. I played it over the weekend and a little bit more tonight because I finished my school stuff a little early, and so I figured I'd just get that done before we start the podcast. And that is a really good game. It doesn't actually feel that much like the beta. Like the beta gives you a good idea of like how the game plays and things like that. But like the worlds and stuff that are in the game and like the things you have to do are so like drastically different from the just that first world that you play in the beta. That I feel like, which maybe you can play more of this stuff, in the actual beta. I don't remember. I only played a little bit, but yeah, like the first world is basically the same as what it is in the beta. That's kind of like it's not really a hub world, but it's kind of that like Mario Sunshine, like Delphina Plaza type, where you're just kind of in a big sandbox. You find the things, you pick the next thing, and then you go back into the world. It's pretty much the same, but a little bit's different. It's because like how Ukulele is like got a more modern take on Banjo-Kazooie. A Hat in Time is like a modern take on the 3D Mario games, specifically like Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine. The ones where you have your hub, which in this case is her spaceship. You go in through a door that you unlock after getting a certain number of hourglasses, which are kind of your collectible, and that takes you to the world. You see this telescope that shows you like an overworld of like that planet that you're going to, and you choose like whatever chapter. So you go to that chapter, it takes you to that part of the world, and then you do whatever it says. And so it's as opposed to like a Banjo-Kazooie game or something where it's like you're just going to there and finding all of the things once you get there. This actually kind of takes more of a the Mario approach, because when you go down there, it could be slightly different. Like, for example, the second world is probably my favorite so far. It's all like theater based or like movie making based. It's I forget what it's called, but it's basically like a whole. Well, they should say they're planets, but you're kind of jumping to certain areas. But it's basically this whole movie business focused area. And the first chapter of it is like sneaking onto the set, because they've taken a bunch of the hourglasses as like movie props, and so you're trying to sneak in and steal them away. And so you have to like break into the through the like lobby area to get onto the set. And like as you do stuff like around here, it keeps a tab of like stuff you've broken, because you're like expected to pay up or whatever. Like it has a really fun sense of humor, and it just does things you wouldn't expect. And then you have to go through and like you're basically there's kind of two factions that are making movies, and like they don't like each other. And there's like the penguins, and then the like the owls. And so as you're going, like there's kind of little sentry people, like owls that are very like keen, and they'll like kind of turn around, and you have to like jump past them or go around them or whatever and not get caught, or else like it adds to your record of expenses, like disrupted the set or something like that. Through past this all this stealth stuff, and you meet like the big actor penguin guy, and he's like, I'm going to make you a star. Like, I don't know how you got here, but you must be really talented, so I'm going to make you a star. And he takes, like, your picture for, like, essentially your SAG card. And then, like, after you meet with him, the owl guy comes up to you, who's, like, a director. And he's like, you don't want to work with him. He's, he's overbloated. Like, he's past his prime. Like, he'll ruin your career. You need to work with me. We're gonna make you some movies. Level, it kind of does two different branching sections of the planet, and it's basically the owls versus the penguins. So each side you go on, like it goes by chapters still, but like one side is like doing mostly train movies for some reason for the owl guy. This one that you do is my favorite. It's like a mystery, like murder mystery on a train. And these crows come up to you and ask you like some kind of favorite thing, like what would your pet's name be, or like like your aunt is here to see you. What would her what's her name? I need to make sure she's right, and like you type in whatever you want for that, and like they don't like they're really good, actually pretty good voice acting in the game, but they don't say these things. It's just, they'll say like, your aunt is here to see you. Like, and it'll show whatever you put in there. Mad Libs with this. I just put really dumb stuff. Like, I think one of the questions, like, you're like this little girl in a hat, by the way. Like, I'll get back to that in a second. But I'm so excited to talk about this game. It's so good. One of the questions is like, what is your least favorite body part? And I thought it was really funny because it's like this little 8-year-old girl. So I typed in vagina. So, like, there's certain points when, like, after the whole murder mystery part starts, that they, like, talk about these inputs that you put in. Again, you're kind of doing stealth stuff, like you're trying to find clues to who killed this person or whatever, which they didn't really die. It's a, it's a movie setup, but you're going around finding clues and, like, trying to avoid the people that are, walking around looking for you and stuff like that. And so at one point you have to kind of sneak past these people while they're laughing. So like they'll tell a joke and then like laugh, and like the little indicator that they can see you goes away, and you have to dart across while they're laughing. And the joke is something like, I asked her what her least favorite body part was. She said it was her vagina. And it's just like it made me really laugh. That's in the game, and like it's really clever world building and stuff. Like it's not just normal platforming. It's like each thing you have to do is completely different. Like I did one before the podcast tonight, where you like are leading a parade for the penguin guy. He's trying to put on this big spectacle, And so you get this new hat that's like a parade hat, and like basically anyone around you follows you. But if you don't keep moving, they run into you and you take damage. So you have to like keep running around, and like there's all these like tight ropes that are electrified, and so you have to like jump around on them. You have to make sure you don't backtrack too much, or you'll run into the people that are following you and take damage. You can't fall off because it's like just a bunch of crowd below you, and so you'll get hurt in a mob of people. So it's really difficult, actually. Like you're jumping from tightrope to like, you know, building top, all these different things, canopies. It'll tell you to like turn on the pyrotechnics. So you have to like go over to a certain rooftop, like multiple rooftops, and like turn those on. You know, trying to figure your way around so you're not bumping into your train of people that are parading behind you. And then it'll say like, oh, we need the like t-shirt cannons or whatever turned on. So you have to like jump over these things that are like on the move, like kind of parade floats, and like hit the power button on those. And like it's all completely different stuff. It's like, well, the first world is a lot of just kind of like, you know, exploring the sandbox, figuring out your powers, things like that. After like just into the second world, like that's literally as far as I am as a second world. Every single mission has been completely different gameplay wise, and it's amazing. Like art and passion that went into this game, I love it. But essentially, the idea is you're this little girl in a hat. Kind of determines what powers you have. So like, you pick up around the worlds. You pick up these yarn balls that you use to like unlock the different hats. So let's say you get like, you know, 3 or 4 of these like speed yarn balls, and it takes like 3 of them to activate this speed hat, which has like little wings on it and lets you dash. And in another level, you might pick up like, you know, 3 or 4. I think one's like called a brewer's hat, and it lets you throw like explosive concoctions that like destroy boxes and things like that. And there's always more than you need. So like I have so many right now because I keep getting the same ones that I already have the hat for. So like the next time I find a different hat, I'll be able to unlock it immediately because they all combine. It's just like, you know, you have a certain amount of yarn balls, and it takes a certain amount to activate each hat. So like I just got one in the second world that's like an ice hat, and it turns you into this like ice statue, so you can kind of ground pound, and you land on these like ice platforms, and it like flies you across a gap. Or you can like, you know, ground pound onto enemies or whatever the case is. But yeah, so they all do different things, and there's kind of like a quick toggle between them. So you like hit a button, you know, you turn it into a direction, you switch to that hat, and you can use those abilities. It's all really cool stuff. And you attack with an umbrella that you can also use to like, kind of float a little bit. And you get these like, they're called, I think they're hat pins, and they're kind of like modifiers for your different abilities and things. So like I've got one that if I hold the attack button, it'll like charge up this beam that I can shoot out in front of me. And another one that just like uses the umbrella if you fall a huge distance, so you don't take falling damage. It, like activates the umbrella at the last second. There's a few others that modify specific hats, like one that turns your speed hat, like when you're dashing, into a scooter instead. So you just ride around with a scooter instead of having a dash attack. Like a lot of really cool, like deep stuff. And as the beta showed, apparently later you get some new abilities and things, like a grappling hook, I think it was. But yeah, it's really cool. Like I had a boss battle in the first world, and it was just like side-scrolling, like on a stage type thing. And he has like multiple phases, and you have to like kind of, you know, dodge his stuff, and like he drops stage elements on you, and it's like it's all very clever, and I can't recommend this game enough, especially, you know, in the weeks until Mario Odyssey. Like if you're looking for a game similar to that, this is everything that a classic like 3D Mario is, but it's also beautiful. Like it's simple art. It is an indie game that was like a pretty cheap Kickstarter. But it's really nice looking. It has good voice acting and a lot of really clever level designs and everything. Like, it's great. And it's supposed to have co-op, like local co-op, but I haven't tried that yet. I've got a friend coming up this weekend, so I was going to try it with him. But I feel like that's pretty cool too. But yeah, I feel like the only thing that's going to hurt the game is that it came out like last weekend, like 3 weeks before Mario Odyssey. Oh. So it's going to get overshadowed real quick by this, like, you know, the 27th, like the day of games. But in the meantime, it's definitely something to pick up. It's like, I want to say it's like $20 or $30 on Steam. I don't remember. I've had it since the beta started like 2 years ago. So it just transitioned into the actual game. I didn't have to pay for it again, but I think it's 20 or 30 bucks, and it's definitely worth that. It's a big game and it's a lot of fun.
It's $32.99 Canadian.
Nice.
So probably 30 in real money.
Is that it for you?
Yeah, I kind of want to play more Hat in Time.
What have I been playing? Oh, well, I have been playing a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online this week. Just
Really?
Chance to try that out.
yeah. It's funny because when it's probably about a year ago, I had played quite a bit of it. I had gotten my character like level 14, and then all of a sudden the game just stopped working. Like it wouldn't like boot up. Well, it would boot up, but it wouldn't let me like log into the game. It was just all this stupid stuff. So I ended up like Googling a bunch of like solutions, and I got it to work for like a minute, and then it like stopped again. I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna uninstall it. I don't care anymore. So then recently you had mentioned it, and I was like, oh, I'll try to reinstall it. Maybe it'll work. And
You were
then
tweeting out about like the humble monthly bundle, like the free on, or not the free unlock, but like the preview unlock, I guess, is ESO and Great Champions.
yeah, that's it. Yes.
I get it every month. I gave the key to my friend to see if he would play ESO,
Mhm.
and he can't get past the tutorial, so we're not gonna play ESO. He couldn't like pick locks. He couldn't follow directions. So
Hmm.
we're not gonna play that. So yeah, I guess that piqued your curiosity to play it.
Yeah. And so I just reinstalled it and started it, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And then it just worked. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
they've done
play
a
it
lot
some
to
good.
fix that. Like you don't even have to choose your server unless
Mhm.
it's like you can just choose between North American and I think Europe.
Yeah. They just have like 2 mega servers now. Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to team up with friends.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's like a Bethesda game. It's like
Yeah.
those other games. It's like an MMO in Skyrim. Like,
Yeah. It's
I thought it
It's
had a
got
really
one-
boring quest structure when I played it a while back.
yeah, it's like ESO.
Mhm.
That's like all it
Mhm.
goes is like kill 5 of these things, bring them back to me.
well, not
Yeah.
all of them are like that. Some of them, there's definitely a ton of the like fetch quests and like the collect. It's like, oh, kill these crocodiles. I had some quests like that. I'm like, screw that. I'm not trying to do that. Then it was funny because like interspersed between like those like BS quests, there's like actual like interesting ones. Like I was like on my way to like complete one quest, and then I saw like this like it was kind of like an abbey or something like that, and it was like on fire. And then like there was like a monk or something that came out. I was like, oh, they're like all messed up and injured. I was like, oh, what's going on? I'll talk to this person. Turns out they were being attacked, and then went off on this whole other quest line, just me like defending this like, kind of abbey farm sort of thing from these like worshippers of Malag Ball or something like that. But yeah, so it ended up like kind of being like its own kind of little side story in itself, which is pretty cool. So it wasn't. There are like a lot of those like stupid fetch quests and stuff, but then there's like those really cool ones. They're like, oh, that was actually like fun to play through. So
Yeah, I think I played it a little bit when my friend was trying it out, and he had to get to the point where we could be up, so I was just sticking around at the starter town.
Mhm.
And the quest that I did was transform 3 rats into humans, like they were transformed into rats. And so I was doing that for a while, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of neat, but it's just the same kind of MMO style. I guess like we can't talk about late game because a lot of MMOs
Right.
are like, oh, these raids, look at these raids, they're so cool. But I never get there in MMOs. I just get so bored that I just tune out. I don't care anymore.
yeah. For me, it's kind of like because I usually like one of my go-to games is Skyrim anyway, so it's kind of like a good sort of substitute for that. If I ever feel like playing an Elder Scrolls game, like, oh, I'll play ESO instead. Maybe I'll make some significant progress this time. So a lot of the time I just run around and take screenshots anyways. Let's face it, guys.
Yeah.
It's a good looking game too. It's a pretty good looking game. Pretty well actually. It was funny.
To Lowe's corner here.
It was actually funny because at first I was like, nah, this probably won't work in SLI. So I ran it in single card, and I was getting this really weird micro stutter. And I was like, okay. So then I did an SLI. It actually fixed the problem. So I was like, all right, well, whatever, that works. But yeah, I'm running it at high settings now. It's like medium, or no, it's like high and like high to ultra settings, which there isn't that much of a difference between. Fun game though. I'll play. I definitely will probably play some more of it. I was kind of looking for one of those MMOs I can just sort of like get in, play a little bit, and then just like stop, and then it won't really matter if I don't play it for another while. But yeah, this is definitely going to be one of my go-tos now that it works.
Monthly subscription?
It's not subscription based anymore. It's just buy to play. Yeah, that's why I got it. Yeah, it's
okay. You just buy the game and then it's.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm not even sure how much it is right now. Like $20-$30 maybe. Oh, there you go.
Well, so I had it on PS4 a while back, and I ended up trading it in because like I didn't have anyone to play with on PS4. And, like one of my friends said he was going to get it with me, and then like I think he backed out and then never ended up buying it. So like he was the only one I knew that was going to play it with me.
Oh.
But I couldn't remember if it was monthly then or not. I think it was, and that's why I got rid of it.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, if that's the whole reason I started. Like I actually was interested in it because they got rid of that whole subscription thing, which I thought was.
I have about 30 hours into the game. I'm not sure where that came from. The time there were me and DigiD were like playing it for a bit. I guess that's where that came from.
Cool.
I didn't even get far. I was like level 9.
Oh, yeah.
So I must have like restarted a bunch of times. You got anything else?
Let's see. What have I been playing other than Fortnite? Yep, definitely Fortnite. I'll get in and I'll play my like 2, 3, 4 missions for the day, and then I'll stop. There's this new game mode right now. It was one that they had during the testing phases called. It used to be called Block Party. Now it's called Horde Bash. It's basically everybody. There's 4 players. Each player has their own sort of base, which is like in sort of like just a random location on the map, and then each wave, the zombies attack a different base. So it's like, oh, everybody go over this guy's base. We got to protect it. And then like you go through like 10 waves of that. And it's actually pretty interesting. So, and then the whole reason I was playing that in the first place is just because they have these new weapon skins and stuff. They look like kind of like post-apocalyptic, like cobbled together weapons, just made out of like stupid stuff like pipes and binoculars, just weird like barbed wire. It's weird. It's crazy. It's fun. But I've been having some fun with that. Not so much the battle royale mode. It doesn't really interest me that much.
I've heard people are complaining that they can't find matches now in PvE because everyone went over to the battle royale mode.
Yeah, usually when they introduce a new mode, it kind of takes away from that PvE sort of population. But I've been finding people in games. It hasn't really been that much of a problem. Not for me anyway. So probably. Yeah, a lot of people were into that battle royale mode for some reason.
What have I been playing? Well, thankfully I was at a retro video game convention, so the biggest thing I've been playing that has my attention has been Marvel versus Capcom 2, because fuck Infinite at this point. So like when I went to the convention, I had 2 goals in mind. I had 2 games that I was looking for, and I found them within the first hour, and I think I got them for pretty decent deals considering how Marvel's Capcom 2 any version could at least go for $100 to complete in box, and I got mine for $65. So suck it. And I've been playing that because like we took it home to my friend's house and we turned it on. It's like, all right, we're gonna play as Magneto and this and that, and we opened the title screen. Wait, where is everybody? You mean I have to unlock? So basically, for the past week, I've been playing arcade mode, training mode, and basically you earn points, and that's how you unlock characters.
Oh, that's right.
So, like, I kind of thought, well, what if I just leave the PS2 on? And then I thought, no, because then I know once I unlock everybody, I'm not going to play a lot. So I basically been playing that and just I have yet to beat arcade mode because it's freaking cheap. But I'll get 750 points here, 4 runs of arcade mode, and then just try different characters. It's even as a single player game with no story, it's still so freaking great. Although I'm still salty that more people think Smash 4 has the better roster than MVC2, but that's what it is. It's just a generation thing. It's just a generation thing. I mean, but either way, it's still super fun. It's still super crazy to see all these characters. Especially when you start getting into the tag combos and stuff. It's still really fun. It sucks that you can't buy it anywhere except for a a physical copy of a Dreamcast PS2 version.
Yeah.
But I own it and I'm fucking playing it. And it's fun, and Ken's really fun in that game because you just destroy your Ripa and it seems to automatically hit when you just touch. I touch, you die. I haven't played it yet, but I will say this, that one of my other sort of like one of the things I didn't expect to buy, but I was like, I have to buy this, was I got a reproduction cartridge of Mother 3 because Nintendo.
That was like a legit Mother 3 at first.
No, because it's not. It's the fan translation on a reproduction cartridge. I know. Nintendo ain't releasing Mother 3, right? I've given up on them. And yeah, it's legal. I don't give a shit. Somebody made it, and I wanted it, and I have it now.
It's not illegal for you.
I don't care. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's no receipts. I paid cash. But I haven't played it, but like I know when I will play it, I'll probably be crying. But we'll go from there. But I pretty much was like JRPG or fighting game this week. And I bought some obscure Wii stuff. But the one I've been playing the most of in terms of besides Marvel vs. Capcom 2 has been Final Fantasy 5, even though I bought 6 as well.
Nice.
5 has always been the one that's curious, has been the most curious to me. 3 I don't care about because I heard it's pretty mediocre. It's like an early version of the job system versus 5 sort of not perfects it, but improves upon the system from 3. And I like it so far. I think it's interesting because it's a nice little twist on the whole, you are the warriors of light and you must go to the crystals. The first crystal you go to is the water crystal, or the wind crystal rather, and it's like, oh, it's shattered. Oh no. Like they're just all shattering, and that's how you get jobs. And leveling up isn't really that big of a deal in this game because you level up like crazy. Like you play battles and you'll level up, like not even grinding, just going through an area. So the more important thing is to level up your jobs and you get special abilities. If you played any Final Fantasy with the job system, you understand what I'm talking about. It's really good. I already had a little bit of sad moment where a certain creature dies. I was like, no. But it's been really enjoyable so far. And then, let's see. I played Mad World because I bought that as well because I heard a lot about it. It gave me a headache because, like, I heard rumors about this game, or I heard so. This game is really violent, is what I'm trying to say. It's really violent, and I kept thinking to myself, "This is on the Wii. This is on the Wii,
exclusively on the Wii."
Yeah, it's like this is really fun. Oh, so like you can stab a motherfucker with a pole, then put a flaming trash can over him, then throw him in on some spikes, and then maybe if you feel like it, chop him half with the chainsaw. The art style is cool, but I told myself I cannot play this like for more than an hour. Like I get what they were trying to do, but for me personally, it was just too like, oh my god, I need to stop. Not because of the violence or anything. It's just it messed with my eyes on how everything was, and everything looked a little too similar, so I got a little lost. So I'm not too
I think an HD remaster for it would be really helpful, like as far as kind of defining the lines and like giving a little more gradient to the black and white art style. But yeah, it's a little difficult on the Wii.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing it through the Wii U, so like it gives that nice little any Wii game you play gets a nice little up-res a little bit, but not that much. So like, but even then, it's very arcadey. It's a platinum game. It's fun. It's just like, unlike most platinum games, because it's on the Wii, it doesn't have that fluidity that I love in platinum games. It's more of it feels like Streets of Rage on cocaine, if I'm gonna make an allegory. I mean, it's made by Sega published it, so like, and there's an intro screen where it's like, well, what if Streets of Rage went bad, basically. And I got this and I basically got some other Wii games I haven't really touched, but the one I did touch that I'm actually gonna play more of, and I might stream it, since we're going on hiatus for Charged Up, It's called Lost Shadow. And I remember seeing it, and I talked to this vendor, by the way, to the asshole who was trying to tell me about Lost Shadow. When I was talking to the vendor about Lost Shadow, you're an asshole. And I wish I would have told you that, because I was talking to her, not you. Anyways, it's basically...
the woman was out.
He was mansplaining, yeah. He was mansplaining to her. Like, when I was clearly talking to her. She knew what she was talking about, right? I was like, I want you to sell me the game because it's from her personal collection. And then he's just like, and I looked at him. I'm like, I should say something, and I didn't. And like, she was okay about it, but fuck you, dude. You know who you are. I don't care if you're a fan. You're rude. But I played like the first level of the tutorial, and it's basically you're this kid who gets thrown off a huge tower for some reason, and you play as a shadow. So
you don't know this is Lost in Shadow, right?
Yeah, Lost in Shadow. Yeah, you don't play as like you're his kid's shadow, so everything's shadow interactable. Like,
yeah.
So if it doesn't have a shadow, you can't touch it. It's a puzzle platformer. I'm not the biggest fan of them traditionally, but I liked it so far, and the music seems pretty relaxing. Like there's and they've already it's all in the tutorial level, so area. So like you have to collect a certain amount of eyes to pass through. As far as I know, there's like no extra stuff you need to find. There's certain dimensional warp gates that you can literally turn the dimension up inside its head to make progress through it. It's really unique. It's definitely unique, and I don't know why, but something in told me you must buy obscure Wii games that you never heard of. So there was that. But yeah, I want to play more. I'd rather play more of that than Mad World at this point. But you know, it's blasphemy to a lot of people, but I don't care. But Final Fantasy V has my attention because for some reason, hey. Let's play all 15. Let's play 15 RPGs at once. I'm not going to get confused. But I mean, you know, yeah, it was a great time. I love those games. I love playing them. I can't think of else. No, that's all I've been playing. I mean, obviously, a little Pokemon Gold, but I don't really need to say much about that just because I've been on nostalgia trip for that game lately. Yeah, exactly. And even though I have the remake, but like I find the Game Boy version so much more charming. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. That's all I've been playing. I just really want to play more Final Fantasy V.
I've been playing Street Fighter 2 on my Super Nintendo.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I played a bunch of Super Nintendo games too with my brother. I forgot about that.
Nice.
He's really bad at Donkey Kong Country. I never knew.
It's a pretty difficult game, though.
Yeah, but it was annoying because like I would get to the end of most levels. Like basically, when we started, it was like 8-1 or something. Like as far as Diddy to Donkey Kong like beaten levels, and because I'm always second player, I hate Donkey Kong. And then it got to the point where like I would get to the end of the level and then like die by something stupid, and so he would literally just like take out that last enemy and go through the gate, and it would count as his win.
Oh,
for the level. So we got to the point where it was like 8-12 or something on levels completed, but he actually completed like 2. Just made me mad. Like they shouldn't track the numbers if they're not going to give it credit for who did most of the work.
But to be fair, once you leave that second world and you get into the forest, that's when that game enters the bullshit area.
Yeah, that's when we quit.
Oh, you didn't even make it to the ice peak, did you?
And then I was like, I don't really remember much past the second world. And we started that forest world, and I was like, oh yeah, this is why. And we quit.
Oh, you should at least have made it up to the second ice level. That's when most people lose their shit.
I don't know. I don't really like the first one that much. Like, I'm kind of bummed that's the only one on the.
Yeah,
on this
but okay, I'll tell you this: keep playing, because the third world, the ice world, has the prettiest looking ice levels you've seen in a video game. It's ridiculous that it was done on Super Nintendo. No, play Donkey Kong.
Just saying, get it right, scrub. That was the third world was the forest one.
After that's the ice. Get to the ice world.
Maybe. He's also really bad at Kirby. I think he's just really bad at video games.
How can you be bad at Kirby? I don't understand.
That's a really good question.
Kirby's like super easy. That's the point of it.
Well, there was some point during that because, like, you know, Donkey Kong is just fine. I wanted to be Diddy anyway, and you're kind of equal. But like, we got to Kirby, and like, he kept dying, and he was first player, and like, you know, technically the companion can't really die because you just get a new power.
You just respawn. Yeah, get a new power.
Yeah, and it got to the point where like he was really struggling, and I was like, "Why are you first player again?" And he's just like, "Because I have the controller. This is mine." And he never gave it to me. Like we ended up quitting because he couldn't win.
Wow, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was possible to be bad at a Kirby game that basically.
I know.
Like they're not baby games because I love Kirby. They're supposed to be, but they're fun games you don't have to stress about, right?
But that treasure mode's actually pretty hard.
Oh yeah,
like as far as baby
that's
games
right.
are concerned, the treasure mode's kind of hard.
It's not hard. It's just you got to do extra stuff.
Like finding all the treasure, and like it's a lot more like adventure based than just level based.
Right, that's not difficult.
So your life, but your life like matters more because like it doesn't respawn. You know, it doesn't reset after every level. It's like you have to keep. You have to be a lot more careful about getting hit and stuff like that.
I guess I never considered.
You just run into everything.
Yeah.
This is my older brother, by the way. Oh yeah, of course. Because it started with beating him at Mario Kart, and then it just kept going. I beat him at every game that we played.
Once he left, and he had his Super Nintendo, he's like, "Man, why do you even get this?"
Yeah, that's why you got this for me, so you could beat me at every game and laugh at me. Then you went back to playing Super Metroid and sucking at that too.
My dad's not the only one, I guess.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to talk about real quick was Thimbleweed Park. I started playing more of that.
Tumbleweed?
Thimbleweed.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, right.
It's an adventure game by Ron Gilbert and his crew. The guys who did like Monkey Island and all those old Scum VM games back then. And it looks just like an old Scum VM game. The trick here, or the feature here is that you can switch between different characters while playing through the game. There's two different agents, Rees. They both have last name Rees, but it's spelled differently. One's a guy, one's a girl.
That's confusing.
It's kind of got that vibe going on where it's like X-Files, like Scholar. I can't remember.
Scully and
Mulder and Scully.
Sculler.
That's a pretty badass name, Scully.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of got that vibe going on, plus like the whole small town, Twin Peaks vibe. It's really cleverly written. I got to a point where the game sometimes flashes back to points in the town's history. So like there's a cursed clown in the town.
Yeah.
He was like an insult clown, so people would come there and he would insult people in the audience, and he insulted
Rude.
He put a curse on him that he can't take off any of his makeup ever.
Oh.
So now he's just like cursed and mopey in the town.
Yeah.
He can't take off his makeup. And
That's
there's
awful.
another person that you flash back to. It's like a girl who wants to join the Lucasfilm equivalent in this game world as a game developer. So you're like, you have to find the books to find like what engines they code with and whatnot. And that's where I stopped playing. I just want to get back into that because it just reminds me of like that old school style. And it's still like, really enjoyable for someone who really loves adventure games.
Nice.
All right. Let's head into the news.
Woo.
Newsy news too. A newsy news too.
Pull up the news. Sorry. Wait, where's my news document? Oh, there it is. I lost it. Alright, let's go back to Fortnite real quick. Their Battle Royale mode has passed 10 million players.
Woohoo! Yay!
They put out
I mean,
an infographic.
It is free.
It is free. They put out an infographic like boasting their numbers. So they've passed 10 million players, 44 million hours and 525,000 peak current. So yeah, it looks like the PvP mode is going to be like the main focus. Like it looks like it going forward.
The problem I see with this is that it's 10 million players, but 44 million hours, which means a lot of those people are probably downloading it, popping in, and immediately shutting it off.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a pretty high number, but if you think about it, like, you know, if every one of those people played for a minute, that would be 10 million minutes. If each person played for an hour, that'd be 10 million hours. And I guarantee a lot of these people, like the dedicated ones, are playing for hours and hours and hours. So I'd say probably 20% of the people in this make up like 80% of the hours played.
Yeah, it's probably
I have this theory that they didn't release Fortnite on Steam so people won't be able to look up the numbers on the Steam charts, so they can just be like, hey, look,
Probably.
selective number sharing. that's just my tinfoil hat theory right there. But
yeah, but I like the art style in Fortnite over PUBG, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a pretty looking game, that's for sure.
I wish there was a mod for PUBG that would let you like use the assets from Fortnite.
That could be cool.
That would make me play PUBG.
Yeah, it'd be great. It's just like a reskin, basically. They've done that for a bunch of other... It'd be a lot of mods, but they've done that for other things.
Yeah,
no, I feel like community putting in, but I don't think there's mod support for PUBG.
Oh, you know, PUBG could actually make the effort and look pretty. I don't know.
It's true.
Oh, you know,
Fortnite has a style. Like, it is stylized. It's pretty. It's bright. Like,
yeah.
PUBG is boring and bland and uninteresting.
Yeah.
Aesthetically.
Right. I agree.
I need to be immersed in atmosphere to play my games, Thomas. Even Call of Duty has better aesthetics than PUBG.
Oh.
Yeah, Infinite Warfare was pretty good. So, anyways, moving on from the numbers of Fortnite, let's move into some legal battles. Not with PUBG this time.
Is Phoenix Wright coming along?
Objection.
Thomas doesn't understand that reference. You sounded really confused.
I didn't even watch the movie. The movie's pretty weird. It's actually kind of cool because the way they do the presenting evidence, it's like holograms. And it's like this gigantic thing that comes down from the ceiling. It's pretty crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, Fortnite getting into civil complaints, civil suits with two individuals. These two individuals are being accused of copyright infringement, basically copyright infringement, breach of contract, and intentional interference with contractual relations. Basically, like going against the EULA. Epic Games complaint reads as the follow. The software that the defendants are using to cheat infringes upon Epic's copyrights in the game and breaches the terms of agreements to which the defendant agreed in order to access the game. So basically what they're doing, they're cheating in their Battle Royale mode. They've actually reached out to these individuals multiple times and have banned them from the game for using the cheats. And now they're actually going to have a civil dispute.
Did they explain how? I don't see how they cheated on here.
It doesn't explain how, but they filed the complaints on. You can read up the legal documents for this.
Because I do feel like there's cheating that happens in that game. Like I said, there's been times when I would shoot at them for a while, basically empty all of the ammo into them, and they would come in with just that starting hatchet thing, and just swoop, you're dead. Impossible to kill, and that can't be normal. But I don't know if that's what this is about, or if it's really just balancing issues in the game.
No, these two individuals have gone they've been banned multiple times for cheating. They've also solicited people to come and check out their website. They actually listed the
That's right.
on the article. I just didn't want to name it here.
Right.
Mhm.
What do you guys think about this? For basically, like, they're going at them for copyright for using an external source to change their game.
I think it's scary
Yeah.
because this, even though technically they're cheating, this could be set precedent for like, well, what if a certain company, Capcom, doesn't like you using mods, because or anything that even though this is mods don't affect gameplay, but they could theoretically use this as precedent. Well, you're illegally using the intellectual property. You can't do that, and that's what has me concerned. If you're cheating, you deserve to be banned. I don't like the idea of having legal precedents set, because it could just be.
It did say that they were banned multiple times, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
to a degree, I feel like this is them using the copyright angle to kind of just like stomp them as hard as they possibly can. So
Yeah,
that they
it's
will
escalating the
stop it,
situation
hopefully.
further.
Yeah, and they've also
Right.
You have to sign a ULA like or like some kind of contractual agreement that you won't like
Modify the game, right?
you won't modify the game or like even like basically they have a set of rules that you have to agree to play the game because it's an online
Yeah.
game.
And
It's
also,
on the servers.
yeah, and then with this game, Fortnite, they're actually pretty serious about their EULA, because I actually was just one thing that I wanted in the PVE mode is a FOV slider, because every game needs an FOV slider. Yeah, so then I found a Reddit post, somebody saying, oh, if you go into this directory and this subdirectory and this subdirectory, you can find this file or file thing, and then you can edit it and you can increase the FOV. And I was like, oh, sweet. Like I was like, it looked actually a lot better with a wider FOV. And then I was like, wait a minute, this might lead to trouble, because people could possibly use this for the PvP mode, because it's the same, because it affects the same both modes. So then I actually messaged somebody from Epic Games, because I like this game. I don't want to get banned for doing something stupid. so they got back to me. They were like, yeah, basically this little kind of workaround is a breach of the EULA. So I'm like, oh, okay, we'll change it back. It's all right. Didn't mean to do it. So yeah, it does suck. But then in that same message, I was like, can you please add an FOV slider in the PvE mode, please? because I took some really cool screenshots with the really wide FOV. But yeah, they're pretty serious about this game. It's almost like they're like really just protecting their investment, which is this game here, and just with all the cheating and stuff like that. And I had a feeling as soon as they announced this mode that all the cheaters are going to come out, because it's a PvP type of thing. It's the Unreal Engine. I'm sure it's fairly, if someone knows what they're doing, they can get in there and just change stuff around pretty easily. So yeah, so honestly, I feel like if these guys were cheating to the degree that they were, I feel like they kind of deserve it at this point, especially if they've been contacted.
Like 8 warnings, basically. Like this is Epic Games, like playing the last card that they have.
Right.
These guys.
Yeah, to me it goes back to the GTA Online thing.
Set legal precedent. Go ahead, Justin.
To me, it goes back to the GTA Online thing, like where they're, we talked about a while back with like the people using the mods for the single player, but then also like using things in the online to like basically break servers for everyone in those servers without consent, and so they had to shut down that program that was allowing that. Like that's step one. If they kept doing that and like it kept being an issue time and time again, they could do the same thing. But it's not outside of like and their legal rights or anything, because it is their property and it's being abused and it's hurting the experience for other people, which leads to other people not wanting to get it. I don't see this being an issue of like Ben, you mentioned with Capcom. I don't see that being an issue with just like, oh, here's some new skins just for you, like. Or like we had the thing about Final Fantasy 15 and like the nude mod issue, and like I don't see that like them taking people to court because they make too many nude mods. Like, it's not going to get to that point, and there'd be no reason for it to.
How else will I play
This is
Street Fighter
expensive.
5 then? How else will I play Street Fighter 5 then?
You don't, because it sucks.
Don't judge. Don't. All right.
The net play is not. It's the net play. If that game didn't like run in slow motion, if you had a bad connection.
Right. So I mean, in that way, like the mods only affect you anyway because you can never get online.
Yeah, playing matches online. I'm gonna God, if I had the extra money, I would give you Street Fighter 5 just like a whoop your butt. Just show you. just not even hold back. Just like, all right, you want to talk? You want to talk? Let's go.
Me and my brother played all of the 2-player games on the SNES except Street Fighter 2. Just dig that in. But no, the point is, like, this is all about like the experience that people are having. It's expensive to take someone to court. They're not going to do, they're not going to go through all the legal stuff. Sure, of course, they get the defendant to pay all of the bills and stuff like that. If, in this case, they win. But you don't want to take someone to court unless you know you're going to win, because it's expensive if you lose.
Yeah, the individuals probably won't like go to court. They'll probably just
Settle.
Like Epic Games will probably just demand them to like take down their site or whatever, and they'll probably apply because they probably won't have the funds for legal fees.
Exactly.
Hopefully an IP ban or something too to go with it, because I mean, how do they come back so many times otherwise?
VPNs probably.
Yeah, that's true. VPN, those damn VPNs.
Yeah. Everything that can be used for good can be used for much more evil.
So true. So true.
I agree with Ben though with that legal precedence for using outside programs to change up a game, because mods are great. I still want that shareware feeling of like the old school like Doom, where people just made a bunch of Doom mods.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't see there being legal precedent for that stuff. I mean, there is legal precedent, but I don't see them like actually doing anything about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's just a benefit to the community. Yeah. It's added value for free. Like, they're not doing anything.
Please don't take away my Urian and Ryu nude mods, please. Ryu is a hot man. He's a hot homeless man. He's a hot homeless man.
I'm not touching that one with Ryu's 10-foot pole.
Doken you over there. That made no sense. That was horrible. I apologize. Oh yeah. I'll wake up DP all night long, baby.
Stop. Dying.
Ha do him. Okay, we can move on now.
Moving from one controversial topic to another, EA addresses the Battlefront loot crates.
Gambling. Sorry.
Unlocking loot crates will yield star cards, outfits, emotes, and victory poses. Star cards are
Ooh.
I put 2 R's in here. Are items you can equip for a buff. EA is saying that the most powerful items in the crates will be unlocked via achievements, and most of the cards and weapons are accessed by players ranking up. So, to elaborate a little bit more on star cards, they're like something that you can equip on your guy to give you like +2 to accuracy, or give you like a special item in the game that you can use. But it doesn't really affect the game that much. Like, it'll give you like an extra thermal detonator. But they had these in the previous game. I always found the star cards to be quite useless, and I barely even equipped them.
I like burn cards from Titanfall.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about loot crates? Also, just adding really quick here, there's been a whole lot of talk about loot crates because they're in a lot of games this fall.
Mm-hmm.
The ESRB has said that they consider like loot boxes are not gambling.
Oh.
Even though they are, by definition.
Okay.
Because I think the reason they had is because you pay money into it, but you can always win. You can't ever lose anything. You guys,
It's.
Sleazy.
I don't really care about the loot boxes themselves, but I do care about the definition of them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, gambling isn't necessarily about winning or losing. Like, I get that's the idea, but it's the addiction to keep going is the problem. Like, sure, it might not be defined as gambling, but it is gambling. Like,
Yes.
it's that same idea. It's that same, like, you know, mental connection to what you're doing.
I agree with you that, like, I don't think it's gambling per se, but it is very predatory and very, like, very much designed around the addiction establishment of your brain.
Well, I mean, can you get like garbage stuff? Like, can you get duplicates or like just a bad thing that you wouldn't care about?
Some games you can get duplicates for sure.
Because that, I mean, then you're paying for something that's a loss. You just lost.
Yeah.
You're getting something, but it's not something worthwhile.
Yeah, it's not the same thing as, you know, putting a quarter in a slot machine and then, you know, pulling the, well, you don't really pull the lever anymore. You pull the lever. You push a button. Some of the old school ones you can still pull the lever. Anyways, it still has that same sort of sensory sort of feedback for whoever's engaging in this activity. It's like, oh, like if I do it again, maybe I'll make one more. Maybe I'll get some really good. One more. Yeah. Oh, come on, one more. Oh, I'm out of these loot crates. Let me buy some more. Let me just buy some more. Yeah, I already spent like $40, but you know, what's another 20? What's another 20? That whole kind of thing. And
they were developed to be similar to gambling. Like, that's the idea of why they were put in. That randomized idea.
It's like a kind of like loophole kind of thing or something. I don't know. Not really even a loophole because it's pretty blatant to me. Like, if you were to put this kind of thing, like, hey, this in this game, does this feel like gambling to you? I'm sure your most average people will be like, yeah, that's basically gambling. So it's, sorry, go ahead.
Especially when a lot of these games force mechanics on you that you have to do that, and you can't. Like, the only game I've seen that where you can't either can't pay real money and the game rewards you by playing is Injustice 2 with its loot boxes, because you can't pay for real money to get those loot boxes. You can't. And also the game rewards you by playing the game and gives you fun stuff to do. When I look at stuff like Shadow of War and Battlefront, that's either pay to win mentality or just, you know, fuck the rest of our game. You're gonna pay for all this because we're gonna make this a bullshit grind if you don't give us more money despite paying $60, $70, $100 to the special edition, because fuck you. I'm sorry, I'm making
right. And you touched on a good point. Like, that's why I don't really care about the loot boxes themselves, because inherently they are not a bad thing. Like with Injustice 2, you know, it's great. It's your reward for playing the game. You get, you know, a currency in the game. You use that on the boxes. You get stuff. That's perfectly fine. It still kind of sucks if you can get duplicates and stuff, but it's a good, like, reward system for playing the game. It's a, you know, it's a reason just to keep playing outside of like, oh, well, I finished the story mode, I guess I'm done. But when you can pay for it, that's scummy.
Yeah,
that's the only difference. That's where the gambling part comes in.
Especially,
you're paying real money for a thing.
Yeah, especially in, you know, especially more Battlefront 2, because look, they can add single player, whatever. That game is, the life cycle of that game is going to last because of multiplayer. The second you make loot boxes be able to pay for, people can just buy whatever they want, you're making it pay to win, even though you're saying, whoa, it's not pay to win. No, it's pay to win, because you're telling people that in order, because you can only progress by loot boxes, from my understanding with Battlefront 2.
I just said that you don't.
You don't? Okay, my bad. My misunderstanding.
Like, the more powerful stuff that you get from playing the game and like leveling up and spending in-game currency on stuff. Like, you play the game, you get currency.
I wonder what the progression is, though. That's my question.
Is it leveling up? Like, you earn levels.
Like how often do you level up? That's what I'm wondering at the end of the day. Because if they make it a grind where they make it take, like, I understand you're not going to want to get legendary automatically, but if they make it to the point where, like, okay, this is realistically, I'm not going to get this, even by playing a couple hours, where like I have to cough up money for something, that's horse.
Yeah. Also, like, Overwatch is kind of the same thing, where the early level, like your early levels, you get loot boxes constantly, but then like once you're such a high level, it takes forever to get a loot box, and that's just cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, there's
money on that because they love the game.
Which, I mean, I guess the problem people more so because like they're only offering this because it's lucrative for them.
Right.
Ain't about paying real money for loot boxes as much as we want, but people are buying them. So I like honestly, if I was in that situation and like there was a bunch of execs in a room, it's like, do you think we could make some money off loot boxes? Do it. Like that's the mentality. It's like it's you can't have the entire game built around loot boxes. Like if they were progression based and like you need them to do well in the game or whatever. But to me, it sounds a little hypocritical to say that they're bad to include at all, because that's another one of those things like optional difficulty stuff, like I mentioned before, with like things that help you get through a level that you don't have to use. It's like you don't have to buy loot crates, but people do. So apparently it's not that bad because people keep doing it, and if they're complaining about it, but then they're going to buy them. So what are you really complaining about?
The problem is that it's just so like predatory because it's just like
Yeah.
people like the higher tier guys, like people at Blizzard and like Activision, they study the brain and they like try to figure out what releases the endorphins the most.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think just humans are just garbage creatures and we just feed into whatever
Oh, yeah.
we have. So,
Nihilistic calmness.
You've been around Ben too long.
We're like lemmings, man, with these games. It's like, ooh, it's the shiny loot box. Let me open it. See what's
I hate loot boxes. I don't like
I
them.
love loot boxes because I'm a garbage person.
I never spent money on a game like that.
Hmm.
Well, actually, I have spent money on
Like,
Go ahead, look. Go ahead.
oh, I was just saying that's like one of my main problems with Fortnite is that pretty much like anything cool that you can get comes out of a loot box. And I bought the Founders Pack, so it came with a bunch of those already. So I'm like, oh, cool. Just open a bunch of these. I got a bunch of cool stuff. And I'm sure the win rates on them were super high because they were Founders loot boxes. And I'm, now I'm just kind of playing through the game because I have all the guns and stuff I need. So, and now I'm starting to unlock these kind of free loot boxes. And I'm noticing that there's not so great of stuff coming out of those. So it's definitely,
That's the issue.
Yeah, it's a bad trend that we're seeing is that it's kind of like Justin was saying, you're basing the gameplay around the loot box. It's like if you want to like get better or progress the game, you got to get these, and you can either get like one like every like I don't know 40 hours you invest in the game, or you can buy some, and then it's I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I don't know. Like it seems like a thing that it's just like Thomas said. People are just going to keep buying into it because it's just because you just click the button, get some stuff. Oh, endorphins. Click the button, get some stuff. Ah, endorphins. It's kind of like.
The community has lasted so long because like that community there, they love hats and they love different skins.
The cosmetic stuff. Yeah.
But don't you buy those piecemeal? Like you buy each one?
No, you buy loot boxes, and there's different tiers of loot boxes.
Oh, okay.
Like it's really
'Cause I like the days back with like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where it's like you buy skins and stuff, but you buy them in the store. Like you know what you're getting, so you only buy the things you need.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's all like if they did that with Infinite, they probably will. You just buy a loot box and then it would unlock skins for different characters. I was like, oh well, I never used them, so this was worthless to me.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel Heroes did that. I remember that. The thing going back to
Yeah.
like not knowing what's in your loot box, China has actually been ahead of the curve and has been like putting like percentage accuracies on what you can get.
Really?
Like you have 8% to get this skin versus
Wow.
this one. And, like, China's been kind of ahead of the curve with like this gambling loot box stuff.
Is it kind of like one of those XCOM bait and switches where it's like, oh, 100%, but then you shoot, you miss?
No, I think it's like illegally, bullshit.
I hate that.
Percentages are the biggest trick because as long as it's not 100%, you can always like blame your miss.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be like 89% chance to get the item you want. You open it up, it's not in there. It's like, man, I got the 11%, but really it was never in there.
Right, exactly.
It's like, what's behind door number 2?
And the fact that they use like,
Mhm.
claims this as, oh, it's not gambling, is kind of really weird because it's paid off by like game companies that fund them.
Mhm.
So,
Everybody just copy the Injustice 2 model where you get in-game currency and you have to play the game to get the close up. Because I got like my friend, you know, he had already had a ton of, you know, in-game currency, so he let me buy some, you know, mother boxes for Injustice 2. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, like I got a couple of rares. I'm like, that's pretty neat. But again, you only get that by playing the multiverse stuff and doing the challenges, and it rewards you for that. If Injustice like said, if they at the beginning if they said, well, and you can buy these for like, you could buy X amount of mother boxes for like $6.99 or whatever, then I would have an issue with it. Loot boxes aren't inherently evil. Charging actual money for them and making game mechanics to where you are not forced to, but you are pushed towards that direction is what the ultimate evil is. Especially in a game that you already paid $60 for.
Mm-hmm.
That is my biggest problem, and this is why I don't.
It's free to play. Loot box away.
Fine,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Totally different
Free to
model.
play, loot box away. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that you're in troubled times and I see a big ass Lord of the Rings set at E3 next year. I don't want to see that. Don't tell me you're in tough times when you have all these shenanigans going around. Warner Brothers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's late.
oh, it's late for you, huh? Games without loot boxes, probably.
Probably.
The Dungeon Land and Chroma Squad devs are launching a Kickstarter for a game called Relic Hunters. It's an RPG. I think I've played maybe Chroma Squad a little bit. I can't remember who put it in.
Here's low. It's technically not an RPG.
Oh, it was me. Yeah, it's because this is actually because there was a game before this called Relic Hunter Zero, and it's if you played a game, it's like a twin stick shooter basically. If you played like Enter the Gungeon or anything like that, it's basically that type of game. So what this is, I guess it's more of an RPG, has more RPG elements in it. Also, the art style is a fair bit different from the original incarnation of the game. It just because I played the crap out of the Relic Hunter Zero, and one thing I always wanted to be able to do was play with other people online, and that's what caught my eye about this game, is that you'd be able to have some online co-op looting and shooting and stuff, and I just love looting and shooting. It's just so much fun. The art style looks really cool to this game too.
I've seen the Relic Hunter Zero played. I haven't played it myself because it's only local co-op. But if this has online, I'll definitely play it.
Yeah, definitely want to check this out. Looks cool.
Pretty much it.
I've been playing Ys 8 over the last couple weeks, and I've been complaining about the translation. And so I guess NIS America heard me and is going to fix their translation issues.
Nice.
So they've been criticized for their awkward translations. The usual translation for the team is usually XC. They usually get these games. So they learned how to for this one. Mostly they've been hearing from the Japanese press about how messed up the translation has been. They call it strange quality. So the NIS America president, Takura Yamashita, has written an apology and assured changes are coming soon. There's a new translation with a new editor going to be patched in late November.
I just like how his statement says, "It has come to my attention that the quality of the localization has not reached an acceptable level by our own standards." How, like... this is such like an internal document thing to say. Because it's like... Someone told me that our translation that we did was bad. What?
Launching an investigation.
What's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah, the investigation's already done. If he's been told it's not good,
yeah. What is left to investigate?
does he not know what's happening in his own company?
Probably not.
Sounds so stupid.
Does our president know what's going on in our own country?
Well, he's a moron. That's different.
That's
Right.
This is happening in Puerto Rico.
No.
no.
That's all I'm saying.
Nihilistic Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yay for patches.
I hope
Yay.
it fixes some of the stuff, but I don't think it will.
I mean, like, localizations take a long time. I don't see this being just
Yeah.
a quick fix if they're just now hearing about it, apparently.
They'll probably just fix the things that people have been complaining about specifically, like a couple of instances that they've seen around. But
That's true.
Mhm.
But you'd think they'd have to scrub through the whole script.
Exactly. That's what they should
Yeah.
have done before.
Yeah, it's not like the Yeast games are big sellers are in here. They could have waited.
Yeah, it's a niche,
They would've still-
niche like series over here. It's not huge. It's not Final Fantasy.
Nope.
That's probably why they weren't going to fix it unless they got complaints.
It's
Good.
like that kid who turns in that project. Well, the teacher won't notice. The teacher did notice.
Mm.
Something that no one has ever noticed is, or not enough people noticed, or I should rather say, is that the Good Life Fig campaign. Looks like the Fig campaign for the Good Life is not reaching their goal of 1.5 million. Last I checked, it was at 600 something thousand. Let's see, 682,000.
Which isn't, like, they can make the game for that.
Yeah, the problem is that they don't get any of it. They have to relaunch. So Swery has said that they're going to relaunch on Kickstarter, reflecting on the Fig campaign. He's regretted not informing people on sharing that the game will be developed with Yukio Fatsugi's company, the guys who made Enter Dragoon.
Hmm.
And the art director for Rez, Noboru Horita. Swery says he's going to launch on Kickstarter. Hopefully it'll start later this year. He also said he's going to limit the amount of how much the game should be.
Yeah.
I actually
My favorite thing is I saw a thing on Twitter. He was pleading for people to, do the last push on Fig. And, like, poor Swery, like, his English just isn't quite up to par. And there's like he was like basically saying, like, I really want to make this project, like, please help me. And there were comments basically saying, like, well, I'm not going to support anything you do until you finish D4. And he was trying to, like, explain. He was like, I can't, like, I don't have the ability to make that.
Yeah, that's a Microsoft thing that, like, they hired him.
Yeah, and, like, people were getting really mad that, like, he never finishes his projects, apparently. And they're like, why should I trust you to finish this one? And he was trying to explain it, but, like, his English isn't great. And I felt really bad for him, but it was also kind of funny how dumb people are. Like, clearly they're aware of who he is and what he's done, but not enough to know that he doesn't own that product anymore.
I've seen his Twitter, like,
Poor
where
guy.
he said he failed and he, like, posted this whole message thing of what he wants to do.
Mhm.
And it seems like a lot of people are really supportive of him, so I don't know.
Yeah,
So yeah, I backed
there's always going to be the trolls.
$40. I actually backed for the dog version, and his cat portfolio of pictures. I really want to see what pictures of cats he would have.
That's adorable.
Um,
I was about to say you're dead to me, but that you made it better.
I really want to see what his cat album is. Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully his Kickstarter actually works out this time. We need more people like Swery.
Yeah, he's pretty precious.
Alright. Shovel Knight is going to have Battletoads. So get ready.
Green armor.
Get ready for some Battletoads invading your shovels. The team of, what is it, Zip, Pimple, and
Zitz,
Rash,
and Pibble.
Yeah.
They're coming over to the PC version. Apparently, they're already on the Xbox version before 2 years ago. They came on. I don't remember that, so that's why I put it in here because I thought that was a news story. But it's coming to PC. So
Yeah, because
Interesting.
at the time Sony got Kratos. It was a PS4 Shovel Knight exclusive. You got the whatever chains, the fidget spinners he freaking has. And then I always thought Microsoft had the better of the DLC because you got green armor, and you got to basically recreate Battletoads, which I don't care because I don't have Battletoads. I never played Battletoads, but you got green armor. I will buy this game for my PC just to have green armor. I am that sadistic.
Shovel Knight's on the Switch, right?
Yes, but you
Yeah,
don't get
but
green
Battletoads
armor.
So what would you want to be crossed over with? Shovel Knight?
Ooh.
Give me Zelda so I can have green armor.
Give me a Link.
Well, I was just talking about Zelda as a brand, but yeah,
It would be fun to have a Zelda 2 level in there, because this makes it sound like there's actually like levels you play through and then fight them at the end of the levels.
you do play through
Is that right?
you do create Battletoad levels in the show.
Because that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
if they did something like that with like Zelda 2,
Hmm.
which is the black sheep anyway, but this kind of has some homages to that already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sony
That'd be
one was
cool.
basically you fight Kratos, Kratos gets angry, you get the fidget spinners. But seriously, come on, give me green. Just let me buy. I will pay $1.99 just to play green armor. Just give me my green armor,
Does it have amiibo functionality or no?
just with the Shovel Knight amiibo. But you can't get green armor that way.
If you say green armor one more time,
Hashtag green armor.
can I boot you from this conversation? Is that within my ability?
Just saying, man. That's
Smart if you actually did it.
the only reason to buy
can't.
that game again for me.
Wait, what reason? I wasn't listening.
No, let's move on because I'm making you mad.
But I might have to get this again. Like, I'm not a huge Battletoads fan, but like just the fact that like there's so much more content in there now, and like this is exclusive to the PC version that gets you more content than the other versions is kind of tempting. But I'd also probably get it on Switch instead, just for principle.
Yeah, but there's no green armor on Switch.
Switch-specific stuff.
Maybe.
Yes, I think Justin put in the God Eater 3 trailers.
Yeah, this is more just kind of a, just so you know type thing that God Eater 3 is coming. I don't know too much about the series. I've seen one of my friends play 2, I think it was, on PS3, I think. And it looked like a really cool, like kind of crazy game, like an action role-playing type thing.
It's Monster Hunter, but with a bit more story.
I've heard it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of big boss battles in between, like, kind of some shorter levels.
I like those.
But it's just cool that we're getting another one because it was kind of a niche series in the first place, and it was surprising it got a second one.
Yeah, the first one was on the PSP.
Yeah, I think the second one was PS3, and then now there's this for PS4.
I will say, if you're curious about the God Eater franchise, if you buy God Eater 2 on Steam, you get God Eater 1 as part of it. So if you're curious, if it goes on sale,
know it
you
was
get,
on Steam.
yeah, it's on Steam. I think it was only came out on Steam like a year ago. But I could be wrong now, but I think the promotion was, I hope it still is the case that if you buy God Eater 2, you get the remastered version of God Eater 1, which is a PSP game.
Yeah, they might have
That's
rolled it
neat.
all into one thing. Maybe like a bunch of stuff.
Hopefully.
Yeah. The character designs are really cool because I played them in a crossover game, but then I looked up what the game actually was. I'm like, I don't have time for that. Put it to the Switch and I'll talk, and we'll talk.
Alright. Let me take you back a week ago, October 7th. No, October 8th. 2017. I was sitting at home watching Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And Kurt Angle was on the screen promoting WWE 2K18. And lo and behold, another Kurt Angle came into the room dressed as Colonel Sanders. And announced to the world that he will be in.
Wait, how are there two Kurt Angles? But it's live.
Cloning.
This is like a package, like the video that they just played.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
That makes more sense.
Yeah, they're including Colonel Sanders as a playable character in WWE 2K18.
Are you sure? Are you sure we didn't just steal somebody's mod?
I mean, they make there's so many creative players that you can just download. Maybe that's what they did in 2K. It's just like, this one looks good.
mhm.
But no,
I mean, KFC is so crazy these days. Is anyone really surprised?
there's
Yeah.
like a whole like brand crossover with KFC. They actually had a KFC Colonel versus a chicken on one of their pay-per-views.
Hmm.
Like, the Colonel was dressed up as Dolph Ziggler and he was feuding with The Miz, I think, at the time. So they had that going on. It gets weird, guys.
All right, it's official.
Say.
When I buy this game, I'm gonna have Colonel Sanders win the Royal Rumble and pin Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, because that's what should happen. I know that doesn't mean anything to a lot of our audience, but for those of you who get,
Mhm.
I don't know. He's in the Shield now with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
yeah, they'll turn on him eventually. The crowd is they have to hate Roman Reigns. But stream it on YouTube.
The Colonel's looking jacked, though.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
not eating his own chicken. That's for sure.
I could have gone on more and more with wrestling bits from you then, but I'll stop it there.
No, unless it's about like Colonel Sanders jokes, I don't want to hear it.
Finger licking good.
Because I put this story in here. Let's for the record, I put this story in here,
You
but
opened
only
the
because
gates.
of the ridiculousness of Colonel Sanders and a wrestling game, not because of anything wrestling related.
should
You
watch
lowered
the
the
wrestling match with Colonel Sanders versus the chicken. It's pretty stupid.
I could just watch any Family Guy chicken fight.
Yeah.
It's not
I heard they had a live action one. It was like the what is his name? Ty Burrell or something from Modern Family versus Chicken in like the season premiere or something like that. I need to look into it, but I'm pretty sure there's like a live action chicken fight. It sounded awesome.
why is there so much chicken fighting in our media?
Because it's all our subjugation of wanting to beat the actual chicken, to choke the chicken. That's probably what it is.
Yeah,
That's all we're
It's-
thinking about.
it's this
Like-
male-centric society focusing on beating their cocks.
That was remarkably deep, man. Congratulations.
I mean, come on. What else? Freud. Freud is right.
We talked about Freud in the It watch along.
Yeah, we talked a lot about things in that fucking movie.
Yeah, well, 3 hours.
Well,
There's
yeah.
a lot to talk about. Alright,
Sounds like
last-
very little of it had to do with the movie.
Last story of the day. I put this in here kind of last minute because this freaked me out. But there was actually a new video for Mario Odyssey,
Mhm.
and it blended live action with CGI Mario. And there's a scene in the music video. It's basically like a music video where Mario possesses a real person, and like he has the hat and the mustache on. And it's like that made me freak out.
I wish they'd shown
A little too
Pauline.
real.
It won. I mean, besides creepiness, it was a really good commercial for Odyssey.
Yeah, it was done really well. The production.
They've been really proud of it. They're putting it all over the place.
Oh, it comes out in 2 weeks. Oh, it's so close.
Yup.
Oh,
We talked about last week about the possible CGI crossover with live action for Sonic,
Mm-hmm.
and this made me think like if the people who are making that Sonic movie had like an inch of what they can do here with this music video, it might be really cool.
I want to marry Pauline.
I guess
No,
no one
it's-
was as freaked out as I was.
No, I was just too distracted by Pauline's beautiful singing voice. Like, seriously, that song is amazing. I know we've said it a million times by now, but I love that song.
It's a really good song.
Some of the best music.
2 weeks. Next week, I'm neck deep in anime, and then the following week, I get to possess people. Oh, joy. Video games, everybody.
That also sounds like anime, by the way.
Right.
It's all, everything is anime. Everything is anime. No? I'm gonna leave.
No.
I'll leave.
Hey, you guys were here last week. We were talking about Sonic. I know you guys are super into Sonic. What were your thoughts on
The movie?
movie possibility?
If Sonic doesn't kiss a girl, I'm walking out of the theater. Like a live action female. Because I want my furry friends. I want my furry friends to be happy. They deserve to be happy.
That's very good of you to want that for them.
Yeah, look, Sonic just has to collect one ring in the movie, and if he just does that, I'll be happy. But if Sonic, I want my furry friends to see Sonic kiss a human person, male or female, because I think Sonic's bi personally.
Ben's furry friends is just himself.
I'm not a furry. I'm not a furry. I'm just saying I know a lot of furry people because I am a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm well aware of the community. I'm just saying, just freaking do it. You already did it in Sonic 06. Just do it. Just do it.
I want to see Sonic collect one ring in the movie and then present it to his beloved at the end and then die because he doesn't have any rings left.
It's an elaborate scheme by Dr. Robotic. Got you now, Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart.
That would be the ultimate Dr. Robotnik plot. Like, get Sonic to fall in love and give away his ring.
Yeah. My last ring.
And then steal the girl.
Oh, man. Mr. Robotnik.
With his Dr. Robotic.
Alright, with that, we're going to end the show there. Justin, where can the people find you?
I am at ZeroScore on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, VidMe. Pretty much it. Usually here, except for the weeks when I won't be coming up because, you know, wedding and stuff. But yeah, that's it.
Lo?
You can find me on Twitter most of the time at Near the Hero, N3R0, THEH3R0. You can also find me on YouTube, Near the Hero with letters. You can also find me here on Charge Chat. Please find Joan.
And Ben.
You can find me at twitter.com/marvelousiggy. I actually posted a selfie last week, so you can actually see what I look like.
Where?
I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/marvelousiggy. Just go to media.
Videos, too.
Yeah, I had to delete
now.
some of them because some of them contain my friend's license plate number. I was like, oh,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, so I had to delete those. So I have
It's always
them.
the issue of like posting things as you record them. Is it's
I wasn't noticing. I didn't notice. But yeah, also since Justin and I are going on hiatus, which means my Wednesdays are going to be free more, it's spoopy time, so I might stream. I don't know. There's something not spoopy because I know everybody wants spoopy. But if you want to know my Twitches, it's twitch.tv/Iggy2814. It's been forever since I've streamed. I kind of want to stream something. I don't know what it's going to be. Probably just me playing Hyrule Warriors. Not Hyrule Warriors, goddammit. Waifu Warriors, because I refuse to call it any other name at this point.
even though you just did.
But that's enough for me. Huh?
To be clear, there will still be shows on Wednesdays. They just won't be
Right.
like,
Live.
live, yeah.
So you theoretically
They're
could play an episode of
pre-recorded.
Charged Up with me streaming, so you get double dose of the Marvelous one. Because who doesn't need a double dose of me?
Yeah, that won't be confusing with your voice or anything.
I mean, I can always talk in like a horrible impressions of who do I do again? I was gonna say Peter Venkman. I know that's not right. I don't know why I'm thinking Ghostbusters. Yeah, I'm done. I'm rambling.
And you can find me, your host Thomas, at CSG Thomas on Twitter. You can also find me here at chartshit.com. This is where you can find all of our shows, all of our videos, everything that you can ever want on our show. And you can also email me, Thomas at chartshit.com, for any questions you want me to read on the air. And enjoy your games.
That was awkward.
Bye.
Did you know The Evil Within 2 is out now?
Yeah,
I don't remember
about
something
Tuesday, I
like
think.
that.
And no one's playing it, it seems like.
I sent in a
No.
request and they said there's too many people have.
I'm watching a stream. I've been like one of the streamers I love watching has been playing it, and it's freaking great.
I've heard
It feels-
I've heard this one is good.
It feels like It looks like Silent Hill. Like it looks like Silent Hill.
I never cared about the first one.
Yeah, I've heard like polarizing.
I mean,
thought it was okay.
I heard it was mediocre. I kind of wanted to buy it for the PS3, but now that I kind of hope it gets ported to the Switch, I hope it does. Considering
Maybe.
we are getting Doom Boys and Nazi Killer 101. What episode is this?
39, 38, 39. 39.
39. Okay, I'm exporting my